Wolfpack, my name is Kamaria and welcome back to another video on my channel. Oh my god, I was supposed to make this video 2 months ago. I had announced in my latest episode that I was going to be starting the Wolfpack reading club, which is all going to be about book reviews and getting books and talking about books, because books is such a huge important part of my life. And of course, as typical to my fashion, life got in the way, and this video got pushed back quite a few number of times. And there was other videos I was going to upload, and those files got corrupted or something happened to them. I haven't gotten a chance to upload those, and just everything's just a mess. So I'm filming this now. These books I did get back in August, and yes, I got them from the library and they're way overdue, so I gotta do this video today. I gotta return them today after this because I got a lot of fines now I gotta pay. Return your library books on time, kids. Anyways, so there were 3 books that I had talked about in my last episode that I was gonna do for this episode, or the first episode of the Wolfpack Reading Club. The first book is called Poison and is by Bridget Zinn. Basically, this book was in medieval fantasy type book. It's all about people who are master potioners, people who use poison as their weapons, and it's all dates back into medieval time. And it stars this 16-year-old girl named Kyra. She's one of the highest trained, highest skilled potions master. She knows anything to do with potions and things like that. And she's on the run. She's on the run because she tried to assassinate the princess of the country, and apparently she's been tasked to do this before, and she never misses her darts, like her poison darts. She never misses. She's a great shot, and this time she misses, and then she's on the run for her life in this kingdom, trying to I guess find out the truth. And we don't know why until the end of the book, of course, but she's been trying to kill this girl, and you're kind of conflicted because, you know, is she a villain? Is she good? What's going on? Like, I really like that concept of the book. It's very thin. It's only like a couple hundred pages. The book itself was interesting to read. There was a few things that were kind of predictable that came out about the book, and I don't like spoiling the ends because I do want you guys to be able to read these books and have your own opinions for them. So I'm not going to talk about the ending of these books, but I will say that a few moments in this book particularly, there was a lot of things that were very predictable. The characters kind of had like their own like plot twists, and the plot twists, you kind of could see them coming. A few of them I didn't, but a few of them, yeah, they were pretty apparent as to what they were hinting at. The book itself was very interesting. I did like it a lot. It was a good read. I will say I will recommend this book for sure to read if you do like the medieval setting type thing. This is very women-esque power type book, all about women taking control of their lives and the world that they're in. So it's kind of it's an interesting book because as like a reader you're conflicted because we always try to root for the good guy. At least that's what I try to do. I always root for the good guy in every book that you read, and I think every author kind of wants you to root for the good person in every book, just because they're the protagonist. So in this one's kind of conflicting because the protagonist seems like she's the antagonist, and it's like, it's just very confusing until the middle of the book, in terms of why, right? But then once you read throughout the middle, then it becomes predictable. You start, the plot line kind of just lays itself out, and you're like, okay, I know where this is going now. In terms of rating, I would give this book a 3 wolf heads out of 5. It's kind of the same as most medieval fantasy books. The plot line was about the same as well as most books I've read from this era. Now, this next book, oh my god, first of all, it's by Scott Westerfield, and if you haven't read his other book series, I would 100% tell you to go to the library or go to your local bookstore and pick up a series by Scott Westerfield. My favorite is the Uglies series. I think it was Uglies, Pretties, something else, and then Specials, if I remember correctly. There's 4 in that series, and it's all about way off into the future, what if we had the ability to jump into a tube and surgically change yourself into whatever you dream to look like, whatever you want to look like? And that whole series deals with that. Basically, there's one protagonist, not a female protagonist again. Her name is Tally Youngblood, and she finds out that yes, this surgery turns you into a beautiful person. You could be whatever you want to be, and there's all these different types of like cosmetic things that you can do. And in China, they figured out how to surgically put in animal parts. So people who want to be like super waifu and wanted to have like cat ears and a tail or whatever, they could do that, and they would actually act like anatomical parts to their body. And it's a very interesting concept, but this protagonist finds out that there's something wrong with that surgery and that it changes people's inhibitions. And it's a really interesting story. I would 100% recommend anyone to read it. I think I finished reading it in high school, and it's still to this day one of my absolute favorite series on the planet. So you imagine my surprise when I went there and I was looking for something else, and I came past this book here by Scott Westerfield called Imposters. Now this book takes place, I think it's about 10-15 years after his first Ugly series, and I gotta say, absolutely amazing. This book was so good. It stars two twin girls. One of the twins is used as a, basically she's the head for her father. She's like the president's daughter. She goes to all the meetings. She does all the diplomatic things. Like that's her thing. And then the other sister is her decoy. Basically when she has to go into public, they don't want the main sister to get hurt or killed, so they'll use her as a decoy. But her main thing is that she is a warrior. She's a trained assassin. Like all she knows is how to kill. She can mimic her sister completely to a T because they're twins and they have the same interactions. They have the same voice. But in terms of the essence of the person, it's completely different. And it's all about they're sending off this decoy person because they can't afford to risk the sister to do this very dangerous mission to unite two cities together. No one knows that she has a twin. They just think it's just one girl. So she has to act like her sister. She has to do everything to make these people think that she's her sister. And of course not spill the tea that there's two of them. And it's such a good book. It's written so cleverly. This one, I'm usually pretty good at picking out plot lines and knowing where the story's gonna go. I had no idea where the story was gonna go. And I love that. I love being surprised. I love turning the page going, holy shit, this happened. Like, it was honestly such a huge ride. I would 100% recommend anyone to read this. I would recommend the other series as well. I'm definitely gonna give this 5 wolf heads out of 5. Like, this book is so amazing. I am definitely gonna pick up the second book of this. Maybe I'll read it for the next episode. I think I might not. I think I'll just read on my own time, but I would 100% recommend anyone to pick this book up. Alrighty, then the third book that I read. Oh my god. Okay, so this book, it's called The Beauty That Remains by Ashley Woodfolk. I had such a hard time getting through this book, and not because of the wording or not because of like the story. It's more so about the characters. They're so relatable that I felt uncomfortable reading because it just made me think of my own life. Not saying that everything that these characters go through I've went through. It's just I've dealt with so many situations similar to what these people have gone through, whether with myself or with a friend or whatnot. It hit home. And I think every time I would turn the page and try to finish a chapter, I was getting really major flashbacks, and it was just triggering a deep part in me where I just didn't want to continue reading. And not because I didn't like the book, it's just because I mentally could not continue. I did end up finishing the book. It just took me a while. And like I said, only because emotionally it was just very tough. Basically, this deals with, I think it's like 4 or 5 different people. And it talks about how all of these people are related to each other and how all of them experience death in a certain way. One person experiences their friend committing suicide. Another one experiences their twin passing away from cancer. Another one is their best friend gets into a car accident and passes away and they don't know what to do. So it's like, it hit home because the way Ashley Wood Folk talks about these stories, it's in the other person's point of view, and it's how they're dealing with the grief and the aftermath afterwards of their friend passing. Most books I've read that deal with death actually have the ghost of the person who's passed talking in first person or in third person about their life and what they're experiencing. But I haven't read a book where it talks about what happens to the people who are affected afterwards. And I think it was an interesting story. I also like the fact that the author brought up this subject, because I think there's a lot of teens and young adults that deal with these types of situations, unfortunately, because there's a lot of people that do pass away very young, which is the saddest thing. But I feel like this book could help them understand different ways to cope and different ways to deal with things by relating through the characters. I also like it because it's very social media based, it's very modern. Every single chapter kind of, if you guys can see this here, it kind of deals with social media. So like the person who's passed, the person who's passed their friend posts like an old post or talks about an old post from them, or for instance another girl sends emails and Google messages to her other friend on Google Hangouts, which I don't even think people use anymore, but and it posts what those messages she's sending to her. So it's almost as if you see the different type of perspective. So you see what she's sending to her friend who passed, that or what she's calling and leaving on her voicemail, and then it goes into the story and her point of view. So it's just giving so many different types of angles to a person that's going through this, and I think that it was amazing. It was a great story. I will have to give this 4 Wolfettes out of 5, not because of anything. It's more so I just find it difficult to read, so I think other people would also find it difficult to read, especially if they've gone through these types of situations before. Of course, no offense to the author, no offense to anyone that was referenced in this book. It just hit home for me, and I don't know how this would affect other people reading it. I would recommend it for people to read, but I would also put a disclaimer and caution on it that it could cause triggers or flashbacks for people, and of course I don't want to cause anything or cause any tea or anything like that, but if you are able to handle something like this, then I would recommend reading this 100%. The next books I'm going to be reading for October, I wanted to do end of October. Hopefully that will be uploaded by the end of October. It's already, for the beginning of October has already started, and I haven't even selected my next books. So I read the first book of this series, but now I'm reading the second book, and it's called It Gets Worse by Shane Dawson. The first book I was entirely in love with. I put it into my favorites video from I think July or June. And so I'm reading this book. I'm currently already started for October. So if you guys want to read along with me and let me know what you think, then go ahead and read this too. And 2 other books I'm going to be reading are The Winter's Curse by Mary Rutkowski. I just love the cover of this book, and it looks so, like, I love medieval fantasy, women protagonists and saving the world and all that kind of stuff, and even like women villains too, man. Those are cool to read about as well. So there's that one. And then I'm also going to be reading, if you ever read the Aragon series, you'll obviously know about Stewart Pellat, who made this Aragon series books. And after Inheritance, we were like, we want more. So he decided to make another series called Tales from Alagasia. I think that's how you pronounce it. But it's all based off the Aragon world. So I saw this and I had to grab it. It's such a tiny little like novelette. But apparently there's different volumes, because this is volume 1, so I'm already shook. Oh shit. The last book I'm going to be reading is called Girls of Paper and Fire, and it's by Natasha Nagan. Sorry if I pronounced that last name wrong. But this cover, can I just talk to you about the artistry of this? Like, that is so freaking neat. Again, it's based off like a different time era, and I'm all about that life, so definitely reading this book as well. And I also upgraded my systems. I have a beauty light now. Because I was using that as my main setup, but I'm using a beauty light now to help add some more light and dimension into the room. I didn't use it for this video because that offers like a nice amount of light, so I thought I'll just use this for my beauty makeup videos that are going to be coming up soon, as well as anything that's going to be filmed on this extremely messy desk, which I have yet to clean. I've been back and forth between here and Waterloo, so I'm not always here to film and all this stuff, so that's why this place is a mess. So thank you so much for tuning in today. Again, so sorry about the upload schedule being kind of weird and all over the place. I promise that videos are going to be continuously uploading. Whether they'll be regular or not is a mystery to me, and as it is to you. But hopefully things will become more regular, as I would love to keep uploading every day. So thank you so much for watching. So tell me what you think about this video. Tell me what you think about these books if you've read them. Tell me what your comments are about them, what I can improve on in terms of how to make this a better episode series for you guys. Go ahead and subscribe to be part of the Wolfpack today. Looking to make the Wolfpack an even bigger and happier place. So please tell all your friends to subscribe. Also go ahead and check the links down below for all my social medias and my merch shop. Check out the merch. It's pretty freaking awesome. Everything's been designed by my amazing friend over at Depop. I will link everything from her down below, as well as people who made my intro and outros and branding watermarks. Thank you guys so much. I love supporting local artists. They help me a lot, so I want to help them as much as possible too. Make sure to like and share this video. Helps me a lot. Thank you guys so much. WolfHowls for Everywolf. Bye!